How about now? Excellent. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Charlene Aaron, and I serve as the president of OSF Colleges of Nursing here at St. Anthony College of Nursing in Rockford and St. Francis Medical Center College of Nursing in Peoria. I'd like to welcome all of you here today as we celebrate on behalf of St. Anthony College of Nursing. I want to welcome you to the May 2025 commencement ceremony. Dr. Carson, would you please open the ceremony with a prayer, please?
If we could all bow our heads. Let us pray. Heavenly Father, be with us this day as we celebrate these graduates from St. Anthony College of Nursing. You have been by their side throughout their education, and we continue to ask for your guidance as they move into the next step of their lives. We ask that you surround those who are graduating with your grace. Bless their families and support persons who have stood by their sides as they completed their education. Bless these graduates with enthusiasm as they move into the future with eager and open hearts and minds. Help them to put the knowledge, skills, and insights gained through their education to good works as they care for your people. Inspire them to believe in the goodness of life, even when faced with challenges and difficulties. As they commence with the next chapter of their lives, may they grow in confidence in their new roles in the nursing profession. Amen. You may be seated.
Good afternoon. Members of the class of May 2025, your family and friends, members of the College Board, administration, and faculty, I bring you greetings. On behalf of the College Board, I extend our sincere congratulations to the candidates for these degrees. We recognize your hard work and commitment and look forward to the service that you will undertake as you join the ranks of over 100 years of alumni who have provided devoted and caring service to their patients. It is with honor here today to offer the commencement address is Doris Bowers. Doris, a proud 1961 graduate of St. Anthony's Hospital School of Nursing, has led a remarkable and adventurous nursing career spanning decades and continents. In the 1960s, she served as assistant head of nurse in Wisconsin's first intensive care unit. And by the 1970s, she had taken to the skies as a flight nurse. Her career reached international heights in the 1980s, and when she joined King Fahd Hospital in Saudi Arabia, where her leadership earned her the role of Assistant Director of Nursing for Specialty Units. Committed to lifelong learning, Doris earned her bachelor's degree in nursing from Sangamon State University in 1977 and her master's in nursing administration from the University of Hawaii in 1982. A passionate advocate for the profession, she has mentored countless nurses, volunteers across communities, and championed the advancement of nursing at every stage of her life. Even in retirement, Doris continues to give back, uplifting her community, inspiring future nurses, and staying deeply connected to her alma mater. Please join me in welcoming Doris Bowers to the podium as our May 2025 commencement speaker.
Thank you for that nice introduction. And thank you to everyone who is here today, members of the faculty, the staff, colleagues, and all of those others who have supported you and helped you through the years of your education. It requires a lot of support to get through those years. I appreciate being able to share this commencement day with you. I want to thank you for inviting me to help you celebrate and also celebrate my 43rd year of receiving my master's from the University of Hawaii on May 16th, 1982. So it's my birthday. Thank you. Are you aware, and I know that you heard a little bit of it, that St. Anthony's nursing programs have been, are now 110 years old. The original School of Nursing was located in the hospital that was located on the corner of State Street and Summit, and started in 1915 with 5 students. Every time that I visit the campus at the college today, I can't help but reflect back on my own nursing education and career. I did not always want to be a nurse. When I was in high school in the 1950s, there were only 2 choices for women careers, and that was nursing or teaching. And because I had no financial sources, I decided that teaching would be better for me because I could work another job while I was going to school. But fortunately for me, someone nominated me for a scholarship, and that scholarship was in nursing. So I switched my direction. I have never been sorry. When I started school, there were no married women. There were no males. We lived in a dormitory that was located right behind the hospital and had our classes in that same building. Our classes primarily prepared us to be bedside nurses. But there's been a lot of changes since those days. The changes have been vast in both nursing and the entire health profession, as well as all the technology. I can recall some of the things that we had to live through. We had only one antibiotic, and that was penicillin. And I don't know if there's other old, quote, nurses out there that would remember the first, well, I don't think it was primarily the first, but an earlier form of penicillin that came to be shortly after, and it was called ampicillin. It was like Elmer's glue, and it hurt like crazy when you give it to your patients. It was not a very acceptable thing for us. Recently, I came across an article that described nurses' responsibilities in 1887, and I would like to share you. It's called, or the guidelines given to the nurses for their day at work. The following directives were given when they were first hired. First, daily sweep the floors, dust the patient's equipment and bed, wash the windows. To keep the temperature even in the hospital, bring in a scuttle of coal. Light is very important for the examination of patients. So on a daily basis, the kerosene lamps must be filled and the globes washed. The nurse's notes are important for the physician to keep up with the patient. So make sure that your pen nibs are whittled so that it can be legible. Each nurse on duty will report every day at 7 a.m. and work until 8 p.m., except on the Sabbath if you go to church. You will be given 1 day a week off for courting. Graduate nurses in good standing with the director of nurses will get those privileges. Any nurse who smokes, uses liquor in any form, gets her hair done at a beauty shop, or frequents dance halls, will give the director of nurses reason to question their worth, integrity, and intentions. Very happy that a lot of those are no longer required of us, right? I know I am. In 1958, we no longer had to do those things. But some of us can recall other things that we did that do not have to be done currently. I can remember when oxygen tanks required ice to be put into the holder behind it to keep it cool. That ice had to be chipped before you put it in. You made your own alcohol sponges, sterilized your own towels in surgery. You used blue carbon paper to make copies of anything, including your hands and your uniform. Straws were glass. AM and PM care included a back rub. And cataract patients had to stay in bed for 2 days with sandbags on either side of their face. After graduation, I was employed in several different positions as staff nurse and director of nursing assistants and as flight nurse, as mentioned before. All those gave me a lot of good opportunities for travel, for participating in many firsts that has occurred during this period of time. A lot of them, of course, cause various problems. And as you proceed out into the world, you will get to realize that you have to be flexible, adaptable, and learn many new things. You never stop learning. The other thing you will learn is you are always a nurse. No matter, you might not have an active license anymore, but you're still going to be called on for various things. In 1967, I became one of the 10 nurses who set up and started the first intensive care unit in Wisconsin. It was at St. Joseph's Hospital in Milwaukee. One of my vivid recollections in working there was all the things that were new. One of the things was that we had always been used to the physician making a lot of the decisions. Now the nurses were making a lot of them. Communication became more and more important. In 1975, I decided to return to school and returned back down to Rockford. Worked at the hospital for a while and became part of the team that started the first cardiovascular cardiography room. And during that same time was whenever I joined the flight nurse crew on one of the first airborne intensive care ambulances. We transported critical patients, some of them on ventilators, throughout the United States and Canada. Our planes, we primarily use Lear jets, although sometimes a prop plane. The Lear jets were equipped to remove some of the seats and install a stretcher, oxygen equipment, and monitoring equipment. And we had phone hookup to a physician either at the hospital or at an emergency room. So we had to learn all of those things too. We transferred patients throughout Canada and the United States. One of my most vivid memories is on an early flight, early in the morning, leaving Rockford for San Antonio, Texas, to pick up a patient there. We were not even halfway to St. Louis, and all of a sudden there was an explosive sound. So immediately, of course, the pilots and I thought that something had hit the plane or we had hit something. But on close inspection, right across from where I was sitting, oxygen tube had exploded. Whenever the equipment was put in, the tubing had fell down across the heat vent. Fortunately, this occurred before we picked up the patient, and it did not blow a hole in the side of the plane. As a flight nurse, you have to learn about all the effects that high altitude can cause to the patient, as well as the equipment. So in your career, you might be a little bit of everything. during the time that I was studying in Houston for my cardiovascular certificate, I had become quite interested in some of the different cultures that I met down there. So then I decided to go a different route and be more involved in the cardiovascular area. During that time was when the first heart transplants were being done. So again, it was an opportunity for learning. It was a very full schedule every day, doing both intensive care and unit work. And then whenever I returned to the Midwest was whenever I went to Wisconsin, and we started the intensive care unit. I got to Saudi Arabia while I was in Hawaii. In 1980, when I went to Hawaii, there were only 3 nurse master's programs for nursing administration. One of them was in Houston, one Minnesota, and one in Hawaii. I had spent a year already in Texas. Minnesota, the weather did not thrill me, so I decided Hawaii it was. Hawaii is a very multicultural state, and I worked full-time while I went to school full-time. I was able to get a position at Queens Medical Center as a nursing supervisor, 3 evenings a week and on weekends. My first memory of Queens was also my first orientation day. The person giving my orientation was the one that I was replacing. In those days, of course, there were no cell phones. Beepers were just coming into use, but we used walkie-talkies. While she's talking to me, over the walkie-talkie comes a message: we have a baboon loose in the hospital. Escape from the experimental lab, which was located in the basement of the hospital. It had been observed by a patient walking outside. So we also became involved in animal search. We joined security and Hawaii Police Department, not only keeping an eye on the hospital to make sure patients were safe, but to locate a baboon, which was found 2 hours later sitting on a fence 2 blocks from the hospital. So it was anesthetized and returned to the lab. In Hawaii also, I became familiar with not only the very different cultures, but also different religions. A lot of our patients, classmates, were Buddhist. We had some Jewish. We had all different types. Again, giving me a big interest in travel and study. I had experience in long-term care as well as acute care and nursing. So when I transferred to Saudi Arabia, it was because I had gotten my master's. There was no open positions in Hawaii for a master's prepared nurse. And no one would hire me for a staff nurse position because they knew I would be leaving as soon as an administration position opened up. So the opportunity came to travel to Saudi Arabia and become employed at King Fahd Hospital. In those days, the majority of the nurses in Saudi Arabia were foreign nurses contracted to work for them. The hospital was located on a 9,000-foot mountain, so we had various climates, and we had 26 different nationalities living and working on our compound at the hospital. So we had interpreters, of course, that worked with us, although a lot of us did pick up some of the other language. And of course, there it's primarily Arabic. When you go to a foreign country, you have to learn before you go that you have to almost forget your own practices and culture and adopt some of theirs, and especially if you go to the Middle East. Women are definitely second-class citizens there. They were at that time. They still are. Our uniforms and our dress had to be long sleeve, up to our neck, and loose fitting all the way below our butt line. Women could not be in the company of a male alone unless it was her husband. So whenever you went shopping or anywhere, traveled anywhere, you went in the company of more than one male and one female. A female who was married also had to carry your marriage license with you every day, or whenever you went out. Our visas, when we first got there, were turned over to a central office at the hospital in personnel, and we were given what we call an igama, which is a travel document for in that country. All the nurses were from so many different areas, and one of the responsibilities of the supervisors, directors, was to make sure when they came into the hospital that they had the appropriate license, and it had to be equal to our license in America. There were some countries, once the nurse got there, we found out, did not have a nursing license at all. One nurse that I had interviewed was from the Philippines, and she had observed 3 deliveries. And to her, that qualified her to be a labor and delivery nurse. She was asked to return to the Philippines. She did not stay employed there. They wanted to make sure that the nursing care was all the same as in the United States. The practice of hiring everybody was initially done in that country, wherever they were from, and then we did the second process on the site. It was a 350-bed hospital equipped with all of the departments except for renal dialysis, which I had the opportunity to work on the team that set up that unit shortly before I left. And of course, the religious practices there is primary Islamic. When we went, we were told that we could not take a Bible with us. anyone interested in knowing how to do that without getting caught, let me know. Because there were some of us that figured out a way. One of the other vivid memories from there is at Christmas time, because of course, Islamic faith, they do not celebrate Christmas, and they do not allow anything with Christmas in the country at that time. At least that might have changed. My husband, who was still in Hawaii, sent me a Christmas tree one year. I didn't know what that was. I just got a notice that I had a package to pick up. And I had to go to the post office in Taif, which was about 75, 80 miles or so away from Al-Baha, where we were. So about 5 o'clock in the morning, I get up and join one of the Arabic drivers and an Arabic patient going up to Taif for dialysis. So I rode in the ambulance. By the time I got there, I had a horrible headache. Got to the post office accompanied by the driver who interpreted for me, and found this package, which all over it had Christmas tree written on it. So I had to claim the package, but I could not take it home with me. I had to return it to Hawaii. So I mailed it back. My husband, about a month later, was scheduled to have open heart surgery. So I flew home and got him through his surgery and everything, was there for a couple months. Just before, about a week before I was ready to return to Saudi Arabia, a package arrived at our house. And guess what it was? Christmas tree. I kept that Christmas tree for maybe 20 years and put it up every year. It became so scraggled, but it had so many memories attached to it. There's been so many challenges through the years and so many changes, but I have survived them. You're going to face a lot of those same challenges or similar ones as you go through your career, no matter which way it leads you. I recommend to you that you remember all the good things that you have accomplished during your studies. Don't forget the bad things, because you learn from those and you don't want to repeat them again. Keep your dreams alive and never stop learning. And never stop helping other people. Even though I no longer have a license, I have helped our area, our church, and different groups get through the COVID epidemic. I have taught others CPR. I was a member of the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary for over 30 years and taught first aid, intercultural studies, and various other things. So get involved with the community. As I said before, you're always a nurse. You're always going to be needed. You're always going to be wanted. And So keep the positive things going and join the rest of us in always being a nurse. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doris. Let's give Doris another round of applause, please. How about those guidelines, graduates? What a career Doris Bowers has had. Look at what all you have to look forward to as you begin your nursing careers. Thanks again for your thoughtful words and inspiration and encouragement, Doris. The completion of a nursing degree requires the support of a large collection of people. Will the grandparents, parents, aunts, uncles, and godparents of these graduates please stand? Thank you. The graduates thank you for your unending support and continuing prayers to sustain them. To the spouses and children, the graduates thank you for your love and for being understanding about all the days that this graduate was busy learning and doing college work. To the siblings and best friends, thank you for being the confident cheerleader and calming influence. To the faculty and staff, the graduates, thank you for sharing your knowledge and holding high expectations of them, but mostly for the encouragement you provided. Academic excellence is also demonstrated by membership in Sigma Theta Tau, the International Honor Society of Nursing. Will the graduates, faculty, and other members of the St. Anthony College of Nursing Phi Omicron chapter and any other chapter please stand and be recognized? Thank you.
And now, the moment that you have all come to celebrate, the awarding of the degrees. Will the candidates for the degree of Doctor of Nursing Practice please stand?
Dr. Aaron, it is my pleasure to recommend these students for the Doctor of Nursing Practice degree. The candidates have completed the requirements for the Doctor of Nursing Practice as prescribed by the Faculty and College Board. I hereby recommend these graduates for the degree as stated.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of St. Anthony College of Nursing and the State of Illinois, and on the recommendation of the Dean and faculty, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Nursing Practice with all the rights and privileges pertaining hereto to the candidates listed in the program and presented in this ceremony.
Lindsay Bennett, Algorithm for Postpartum Depression Screening in Pediatric Primary Care, awarded the Sister Mary Linus Research Award at the Spring 2025 UIC Rockford Research Day, and first place Outstanding Evidence-Based Practice Award at the St. Anthony College of Nursing Spring 2025 Scholarship Day Symposium. So I should have said, please hold your applause. Elizabeth Enderly, Bridging the Gap, Improving Cervical Cancer Screen Rates with Provider and Patient Insights, awarded the Honorable Mention Evidence-Based Practice Award at the St. Anthony College of Nursing Spring 2025 Scholarship Day Symposium. Jessica Hammerl, Developing Patient-Provider Relationships Through Digital Pre-Postnatal Care, a Qualitative Analysis, awarded the Supporting Model Public Health Practices Research Award, sponsored by the Winnebago County Department of Public Health and its Board of Health at the Spring 2024 UIC Rockford Research Day. Mackenzie Hogan Stevens, 30-day readmissions. What are we missing? Sherry Jordan, ongoing communication, experiences using digital health through remote patient monitoring, described by patients with diabetes and hypertension, awarded the second place Evidence-Based Practice Award at the St. Anthony College of Nursing Spring 2025 Scholarship Day Symposium. Melissa Knorr, continuous positive airway pressure, impact on cognitive function and motivational factors. Natalia Markova, anxiety in high school upperclassmen, 4 years after COVID, awarded the first place Outstanding Evidence-Based Practice Award at the St. Anthony College of Nursing Fall 2024 Scholarship Day Symposium. Jessica Prino, standardizing nursing assessment and treatment of dyspnea for end-of-life patients through the implementation of the Respiratory Distress Observation Scale. Jocelyn Zerke, mindfulness enhances nursing student and faculty well-being, awarded the Best Research Evidence-Based Practice Award at the Spring 2025 State Line Nurses Expo. Will the candidates for the degree of Master of Science in Nursing please stand?
Dr. Aaron, it is my pleasure to recommend this student for the Master of Science in Nursing degree. The candidate has completed the requirements for the Master of Science in Nursing as prescribed by the Faculty and College Board. I hereby recommend this graduate for the degree as stated.
By the authority vested in me by the Board of St. Anthony College of Nursing and the State of Illinois, and on the recommendation of the Dean and faculty, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Science in Nursing with all the rights and privileges pertaining hereto to the candidates listed in the program and presented in this ceremony.
Sandra Schroeder, the impact of well water contamination on children's health, awarded the second place Evidence-Based Practice Award at the St. Anthony College of Nursing Fall 2024 Scholarship Day Symposium.
At this time, I'd like to recognize and ask Liz Enderly to please come up for the graduate student address.
Good afternoon. I would like to start with a warm welcome to everyone on behalf of the graduating class of 2025. Thank you for being here to celebrate this milestone with us. When I began writing this speech, I did what any good nurse would do. I started with a little research. Turns out, writing a graduation speech is harder than it seems. I think I wrote more drafts of this speech than versions of my final DNP project paper, which, if you ask Dr. Dahlstrom and Dr. Messer, is really saying something. So I'll start with the easy part. First, to my classmates, we finally made it. After long nights studying, countless hours writing papers, preparing for clinicals, dreading OSCEs, and having our dreams haunted by soap notes and typhons, we made it. Most of us balance schoolwork with full-time jobs, parenting, and family responsibilities. During this time, we've also persevered through major life events: moves, marriages, pregnancies, starting businesses, and more. That deserves to be recognized because it's nothing short of incredible. Next, to our families, friends, coworkers, preceptors, and instructors, this would not have been possible without you. Over the last several years, we have had to sacrifice time with you, have vented to you, or even made you participate in our physical assessment questionnaires and videos. We truly couldn't have done this without you and your support. I also want to take a moment to recognize those who aren't here with us today, those we've lost, but who are still with us in quiet, meaningful ways. For me, that person is my dad. He passed away the weekend before I started my undergraduate nursing program. He never got to see me in my white coat or hear me talk about clinicals or case studies, but I have no doubt he'd be incredibly proud to see this moment. And I know I'm not the only one who's carried the memory of someone through this journey. And for some, it may be the reason you went into nursing. For anyone else feeling the absence of a loved one today, I want to honor their impact too. Our achievements belong just as much to the people who believed in us and supported us and live on in the work that we do. The word nurse comes from the Latin word meaning to nourish, to care, to support. Even in nature, the title nurse carries weight. From nurse cells, which provide essential nutrients and genetic material to developing egg cells, ensuring they mature with strength and stability. To nurse plants, which shield younger, more fragile seedlings from harsh conditions like intense sunlight or poor soil, quietly fostering survival in tough environments. To nurse sharks, which are slow-moving yet resilient creatures, playing a crucial role in maintaining balance in underwater ecosystems, keeping populations healthy. These natural nurses play a quiet but vital role, offering shelter, sustenance, or stability. Whether in the hospital or in the wild, nurses and nurse practitioners are essential to nurturing life, healing, and harmony. Nursing school, and especially nurse practitioner programs, are not for the faint of heart. We signed up for more than just memorizing medications or mastering physical exams. We signed up to take on real responsibility for people's health and lives. Looking back over the past few years, we've learned more than pathophysiology, pharmacology, and patient care. We've learned how to communicate difficult findings, how to form a plan when there's no clear answer, how to guide patients in their routine healthcare, and how to show up for patients and their families on some of the worst days of their lives. I'll never forget a patient I saw during my first semester of clinicals. She had struggled with alcohol use and had just lost her brother earlier that week. She hadn't seen a primary care provider in years and hadn't followed through on any preventive care. But because I was a student, I had the gift of time to really sit with her and to listen without rushing. By the end of the visit, she agreed to get several preventive screenings done and had a plan in place for follow-up. It wasn't some advanced clinical skill that made a difference that day. It was being present and genuinely hearing her. And that experience stayed with me because I saw it echoed again this past semester. My preceptor and I saw a patient who came in with vague symptoms, which had previously been written off as anxiety. But my preceptor listened closely, answered deeper questions, considered some different options, and ordered new labs. The patient said something I'll never forget. This is the first time a provider has actually listened to me. That's what good care looks like, and that's what we've learned how to do. We've learned that sometimes the most important thing you can do for a patient isn't prescribing the perfect medication. It's listening without judgment, noticing what others missed, or advocating for them when they can't advocate for themselves. And we've learned how to do it all while documenting it thoroughly. Because if it's not in the chart, did it even happen? So now what? Now we become what the healthcare system and our patients need. Clinicians who listen, who think critically, and who care deeply. Whether we're heading into primary care, critical care, geriatrics, leadership, or something else, we're entering a system that's stressed, stretched, and in desperate need of change. That's where we can make a difference. Because we're not just joining the workforce, we're shaping the future of healthcare. We're building on the legacy of nurses who have redesigned workflows, improved access to care, and reimagined what it means to treat the whole person, not just the diagnosis. And if we've learned anything in school, it's that we're ready to lead and drive change through integrity, empathy, and showing up when it matters. But let's be honest, we also know the reality. Burnout is real. Compassion fatigue is real. The expectations placed on nurses and nurse practitioners can be overwhelming. But the solution isn't to care less. It's to create better systems, to advocate for ourselves as much as we advocate for our patients, and to look out for each other. There is strength in asking for help. There is wisdom in rest, and there is no glory in burning ourselves out. So as we step into this next chapter, let's take that awareness with us. Let's protect our energy, our joy, and our purpose. Today is about more than a degree. Today is about recognizing the kind of people we become. People who sit in uncertainty and still take action. People who choose service over comfort. People who don't just want a job, they want to make a difference. Nurses and nurse practitioners who want to serve their community with the greatest care and love. Let's go forward with boldness and clarity. Let's ask the tough questions, challenge outdated systems, and help build a healthcare model that respects both patients and providers. Let's be the nurses and nurse practitioners who advocate not just in exam rooms or at the bedside, but in boardrooms, in legislation, and in our communities. Let's be the ones who drive change, not just wait for it. To the class of 2025, wherever you're headed next, just know this: you're exactly what this moment in healthcare calls for. And remember, whether you relate most to a nurse plant, a nurse cell, or even a nurse shark, move with quiet strength, protect what matters, and never underestimate the impact of your presence in the ecosystem of healthcare. Congratulations.
Thank you, Liz. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing please stand? Dr. Aaron, it is my pleasure to recommend these students for the Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree. These candidates have completed the requirements for the Bachelor of Science in Nursing as prescribed by the faculty and college board, and I hereby recommend them for the degree as stated.
Upon the recommendation of the dean and faculty, and by the authority vested in me by the state of Illinois and the board of St. Anthony College of Nursing, I confer upon the candidates listed in the program and presented in this ceremony the degree of Bachelor's of Science in Nursing with all the rights and privileges pertaining hereto.
Undergraduates who have earned a cumulative grade point average of 3.5 to 3.79 are receiving the honor of cum laude, which means with praise, and are identified as wearing a white cord. The silver cord signifies the honor of magna cum laude, or with great praise, awarded for a cumulative grade point average of 3.8 to 3.89. Graduates with highest praise have gold cords indicating summa cum laude, honoring those with a GPA of 3.9 to 4.0. Deja Alexander. And please hold your applause. I need to write that into the script. Melissa Allen. Yameli Cervantes. Paige Dowdy. Simon DeVera. Zachariah DiCarlo. Catherine Dupree, cum laude. Hannah Irwin. Jimena Garcia. Bryce Goodall. Kathleen Johnson Service Excellence Award. Brooke Kiesling, Service Excellence Award, Class Representative. Emily Lask, Student Organization Treasurer, Service Excellence Award. Taylor Miller, Service Excellence Award. Josie Mitchell. Haley Monica, Student Organization Community Relations Representative, Service Excellence Award. Julia Nystrom. Vanessa Palafox, Service Excellence Award. Caitlin Palmer. Allison Panko. Jenny Patel. Elzabeta Rydlinska, Student Organization Vice President and Service Excellence Award. Elijah Reyes, Student Organization President, Service Excellence Award. Guadalupe Serrano Martinez. Emma Sexton, Service Excellence Award. Sophia Thielen, Student Organization Secretary and Service Excellence Award. And you may now applaud. I would now like to bring to the podium our Student Organization President, Elijah Reyes, to give the graduate response.
Wow. Finally, we are here at this moment. We can finally say, we made it. First, I would like to thank God, the faculty, family, friends, fellow graduates for the support that they have given us. We are gathered here. In addition, I would like to give a moment of recognition for those who are not here with us, for the love, memory, and knowledge that they have given us, have guided us and supported us as we are ready to become nurses. Today marks a monumental moment in our lives. It is a day of celebration, gratitude, and transformation. From the countless hours we spend in ATI to the long 12-hour clinicals, we are finally here at this moment that once felt so far, ready to become the nurses of the world. One of my favorite quotes from The Office was, "I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you left them." This highlights the many memories you have made in nursing school. While writing this speech, there were many lessons and experiences that I've seen and learned from both the faculty and my classmates that I'll remember, such as Grant's soapbox moments, the study sessions we've had, the countless expo markers we've used, the free food at student organization events, the delicious chocolate chip cookies we ate, and the many jokes we shared. These memories remind me of the good times I spent with my friends and what has built my relationships throughout this journey. Trust, laughter, and most importantly, an endless amount of caffeine. I think we can all remember how we felt starting St. Anthony, excited, determined, and yet innocent, as we did not know what would become of our nursing journey. We struggled and struggled and struggled. Oh wait, did I mention we struggled? Our knowledge was challenged with the numerous exams, and our anxiety was through the roof with every ATI exam we took. In addition, we've had to balance our many responsibilities outside of class, such as work, finding and managing time with family and friends, and having a social life outside of nursing school. But there were moments where relationships were formed, and we supported each other in our best and worst times that guided us to persevere. Navigating through nursing school often felt like trying to put out a dumpster fire. It is constantly changing and adapting, and no matter what you do, this fire keeps on growing and going with little to no control. But reflecting on our experiences, we did not just survive the fire. Instead, we thrived in it. We made it from practicing on mannequins, performing our full head-to-toe assessments on patients. From our most difficult classes, whether it was med-surg or mom-baby, we persevered and learned to trust ourselves when everything was overwhelming. We learned about medications and diseases, and most importantly, how to care for people. We learned to look beyond lab values and diagnosis and to see the person for who they are. Reflecting on this experience, there are 3 lessons that I ask my fellow graduates, everyone gathered here, to learn from. The first lesson being to be resilient when facing challenges. From nursing school, the overwhelming anxiety, stress, physical and emotional tolls we face, as well as in life, teaches us to push forward. There will be days when we are overwhelmed and feel anxious and exhausted, kind of like how we were during our skills check-off and fundamentals, and especially during our desire to perfect our medication administration skills, but we made it. Regardless of wherever we go forward, we will face obstacles. However, we will grow from these challenges that will get us out of our comfort zone. The second lesson is about the power of small acts. The phrase "actions speak louder than words" remind us that our actions, both big or small, have a significant impact wherever we go. There are times when we do not know what to say, but our simple actions of listening to others, providing a smile, or even giving a warm blanket help to make someone's day. We never know what someone's going through, but your acts of kindness provide a beacon of hope in someone's darkest hour. Regardless of what our future past will look like, kindness matters. And the last lesson involves 3 simple words. Knowledge is power. My father always told me these words when I was struggling with nursing concepts. These words teach us to never stop learning. In healthcare, things are always changing. There will be new information, better techniques, and better technology to help improve patient care. This teaches us to stay curious and continue to learn. Knowledge is not just power, it is life-changing. It helps us to make critical decisions, provide quality patient care, and to create a better future for posterity. Regardless of how you learn, whether you're using a soapbox moment, a Terry topic, or asking why in pharmacology, continue learning because knowledge shapes your nursing journey and the person you will become. As we leave this ceremony and step into the next chapter of our lives, I would like to express my gratitude for St. Anthony College of Nursing. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "Intelligence plus character, that is the true goal of education." I believe this quote embodies St. Anthony as we excel in our academics while learning the quality of patient care. We are stepping into a profession where we will need strength, compassion, patience, discipline, and resilience. There will be challenges, but we will also face moments that remind us why we chose nursing. Moments of healing, of hope, and moments that will change lives. Let's go forward with confidence, courage, and compassion Let's be the nurses who make a difference, who stand for what is right, and who remind the world that kindness and care are powerful forces. And finally, let's carry with us the knowledge, memories, and relationships we built along the way, as well as the caffeine and energy drinks we will need for the long 12-hour shifts. Today, we celebrate not just our graduation, but the beginning of something extraordinary. Class of 2025, congratulations. Let's go out into the world and make it great. Thank you.
I was just going to tell you all to stand. Will all the graduates please stand? Families and honored guests, I present to you the May 2025 graduates from St. Anthony College of Nursing. Baccalaureate students, you may transfer your tassel. Please be seated for our closing prayer.
All right, let us bow our heads. Let us unite our hearts in prayer and entrust to the hands of the Lord those who will be graduated today. May God, who began this good work in you, carry it through to completion, enabling you to use your talents to the fullest. May God give you the grace to make wise choices, to be faithful to your commitments, always confident in the support of those who love you. May God bless you with discomfort at easy answers, half-truths, and superficial relationships, so that you will live deep within your heart. May God bless you with anger at injustice, oppression, and exploitation of people, so that you will work for justice, equality, and peace. May God bless you with tears to shed for those who suffer from pain, rejection, starvation, and war, so that you will reach out your hand to comfort them and change their pain into joy. May God bless you with the foolishness to think that you can make a difference in the world, so that you will do the things which others tell you cannot be done. May your integrity be a gift to the world, and may the Spirit of God be with you always. Amen.